Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here with us on this Monday morning. I have a special guest here. Good show lined up. But first, let's take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and the hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. We're looking at high today. Folks, it's calling for 71 and a low of 59. How about that? We got the wind direction coming in it's going to be coming out of west about 6. Water temperature at the end of the pier, 63. Looks pretty normal compared to some of the storms we've been having. Our Monday moon phase, right now we're a little bit over half moon tonight. We're going to have a full moon in about a week. So it's waxing, and it's going to be some pretty moonlit nights here as we wrap up the month of January 2023. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Back to some good tides. We had those deep tides over the weekend and just flat out no movement at all. Today we got some tides. The low this morning at 3:55 and coming all the way into about 4:45 this afternoon. And good tidal flow. Like I said, that wind coming in from 8 to 10, so it's not going to be too bad. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with our guest. Okay, welcome back, and welcome to one of our team members here with our Panhandle Outdoors staff.
Good morning. Good
Ken
morning.
Paramore.
How are you?
Good to have you, buddy.
Good to see you again. Glad to be back.
We're glad to have you back. And Ken has been doing all kind of things. We have so much to talk about. We can talk about deer, turkey, bird watching, a blast from the past in one of those cases he did where he waded out in water this deep chasing a bad guy. So all kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna like that one.
I know it. So let's get started now about hunting. I know you're having a pretty good year.
I have.
He really.
And, but as a matter of fact, I've gotten limited out in my lease up there with two 8 points or better.
This is okay. This one right here. This was your first one.
That was the first one in mid December, I believe it was.
Okay.
And then
nice one. And then
I just got one like a week and a half ago, which was my best ever up there along the Chipola River. He was actually, if you count that bump on the inside on that one beam, you know, I'm calling him a 9, but he's 8-point frame. But
I don't know. I call him a 9.2 now. I'm telling you.
I'd probably hang a ring on that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's my best ever. You know, being in that lease up there for about 4 years now.
Wow, and, that's cool.
That was at 3:30 in the afternoon, and you know the rut was on or is on, and it's about to wind up, I think, up there in Calhoun and Jackson area. But I was in the same stand that morning, and about 9 o'clock I was getting ready to get down. And of course, when they're rutting, you know, you never know about the time. So I talked myself into staying an extra hour. Mm-hmm. So straight up about 10 o'clock, I was telling myself, I've had enough of this. You know, I'm hungry. I'm ready to get down.
Yeah.
And I had my phone in my hand, was probably looking at something or texting somebody or whatever, and happened to look up, and this buck had walked in over to my left, a pretty good ways over, and 10 o'clock in the morning, you know, and had a pretty good rack on. I'm not sure it was the same one, but I put my phone down and went to grab my binoculars, and I was up in the ladder stand, but somehow he saw movement or something, and he alerted, and he took off, blowing. He blew as far as you could hear him. Uh-huh. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So that afternoon, I said, well, I'm gonna go back there. I don't have nothing to lose. There's been a lot of, activity around that stand, so I'll go back. So I went back and got in the stand at 3 o'clock. And just, again, not paying attention. It's early yet. You know, you really don't get good in the evenings to me till like 4 o'clock on. Right. But I tried to get there and get settled in. Well, again, I had my phone in my hand. I was texting my wife. And it was like 3:20, 3:25, and happened to glance up over the little railing that's on that stand, and he had walked out of some gallberries around the edge of a pond and was standing there. It was that second one we just showed. And oh my gosh, now I got to set my phone down I could see his rack, so I said, I don't need to grab the binoculars now. I'll just grab my rifle.
Right.
I grabbed my rifle and looked at the scope. And I said, well, it's now or never, you know. And so I had him on the ground at 3:30 that afternoon.
Awesome.
I don't know if it was the same deer as that morning, but it goes to show at 10 a.m. I saw a good one, and
Yeah.
at 3:30 that one came in, and so yeah, it was good. It was a good rut for me up there as far as the hunting's concerned.
Well, you had some good activity too.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us, here's one of your pictures at night. What about this one?
That was well, it was a game camera picture, but this year I purchased a one of those game cameras that go to your phone.
Yeah.
And I have had it out looking at it, and I really like it. But that was one of the action photos that it took. I can't see the time on there that it was.
It's that let's see,
So-
2:50.
So 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, 2 o'clock in the
those
morning.
bucks were rattling each other's horns.
Wow.
And,
that's
so I thought it was a pretty cool picture.
Yeah, yeah. And then you also sent us other pictures. This is one I found really interesting too. About you think they shot this one on the. Let me see if I.
That was the second one.
Let me see if I can find it. But go ahead and talk about it.
The second one I just talked about, when I got up to him after I found him, I noticed a big
Right here.
a big scar looking on his neck, and it's kind of scabbed over there in the center. But if you look on both sides of it, it was over probably a foot long, and the hair's gone. It's not, the hair's not parted, and where it came back, the hair's gone. And we talked about it at camp, and well, they've been fighting, and it could have been a horn, but to rake a horn,
Yeah.
I guess a hoof could have done it, but I'm thinking it was a rifle shot,
Yeah.
and somebody somebody almost brought one home.
That's exactly just like you say. All the evidence.
It's like you took a razor
Yeah.
and just shaved the hair, except for that little scab part in the middle there.
Yeah.
And underneath it, after we skinned him out, there was no contusion, no bruising, no tissue damage. It was just like
It's
it
great.
wasn't somebody's lucky
Wow.
day,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
But it was my lucky day.
Tell me how close it was, though. I mean, you're talking
Yeah,
about
it's
that much-
amazing.
Yeah. That is.
I don't know, half inch or an inch over,
Yeah.
he dropped right there.
There you
Probably.
go.
Went right in his chest.
That was their bad luck, but your good luck. 'Cause
Yeah,
it
it was a good day. It was a good day.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with Ken. Okay, welcome back. And Ken, one of the hats you wear, he really, Bay County Longbeards, you and Stan got that started.
Yep.
And we got, this year, the National Wild Turkey Federation is the 50th anniversary. So tell us about that.
The National Wild Turkey Federation was formed in 1973.
Okay.
And it was formed by a guy named Tom Rogers that got together with some like-minded people and turkey hunters and scratched out on some papers in Edgefield, South Carolina about starting this. Well, believe it or not, for I think it was $12 at the time, I joined in 1974.
Wow.
And I'm not going to say I didn't let memberships last over the years, when you're going to school and life happens and, but my original association with NWTF was in 1974.
How about that?
And I was probably 16 or 17.
Wow, that's cool.
I have to do the math.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're having their 50th anniversary convention in a couple weeks
Yeah, February 15th through 18th in Nashville.
in Nashville, Tennessee.
Now, you've been to, 5 in a row or something? or-
Yeah, I've been to a bunch of them since I got involved in the Florida State chapter and doing our stuff, and had never been. At the time, had never even been in Nashville, so we kind of tied it, with a trip too. But they've got, if you go on the NWTF webpage, they've got the schedule for every day, and you can look and pick and choose if you go. All kind of activities. They have nighttime dinners, entertainment. The sports show is going to be huge because of all the vendors that are going to be there. In years past, there's been over 50,000 people attended over, the course of the 3 or 4 days. Actually, the first night, the 15th, is just a pub crawl, if you will. It's going to be there at the Gaylord. But the real stuff kicks off on the Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night with dinners and speakers. You know, they have veterans breakfast and a Save the Hunt breakfast, and you can pick and choose any of the tickets that you want the events to go to. The Gaylord, where it's being held, is sold out. So right now you're gonna have to get a room elsewhere.
I know they're going all out with it being the 50th anniversary. It's always big, but this year's going to be special.
This is huge.
So I want to put it on if you want a good trip and all. That'd be a nice trip.
Yep. The Saturday night event, Riley Green, who is a country music singer, is going to be their headliner, which is going to be good. He's up and coming, but he's really good. And the sports show, to walk around, you could spend 2 days and not even go to every exhibit.
That's cool.
So.
Well, here locally now, we have some things going on up in Holmes County, and you're here locally. So what else is going on here? You got your calendar still going? So
yeah, we're still trying. I'm trying to get rid of these calendars. I've got a handful left, and we just had a drawing last night, and we had a winner that had purchased his online from South Carolina.
Wow!
And he won a gun last night. So
cool.
It's still relatively cheap. You know, if you figure out it's $1 a day for 52 weeks to be entered, and now you're only 4 drawings out. So
still get some.
I've still got some. If anybody wants some, get in touch with me. I'll be glad to get you some. We've sold probably, we had a meeting Saturday, probably 700 to 750 now. So we've got a few hundred left statewide now, because they're not all in my hands, but we're trying to get rid of those. And banquets, the first banquet locally that I'm aware of is going to be on February the 11th in Holmes County. And Matthew Grantham is the chapter president up there, and he called me the other day, and he said they're expecting a good turnout. And I think he told me they're working on about their 17th table that they've sold.
Wow,
so,
that's good, Matthew.
Yeah,
good job.
That's going to be a pretty good.
Yeah.
And he had a pretty good one last year, but it sounds to me like this one's going to be bigger for that area, and that's good stuff. So
good stuff.
I'm looking forward to probably trying to go myself. Bird watching. We can do bird watching.
Okay. Well, you going to do anything about your banquet? We don't yet.
My banquet's going to be. Our banquet is going to be probably around August 10th to 18th, somewhere in there.
I got plenty of time for that then.
Yeah, we got plenty of time for that. I'm going to try to start getting ready earlier this year than I did last year, to because it's the 50th statewide. So we'd like to have real good banquets for our 50th.
This is that's going to be a special one. Yeah. Okay, let's go to bird watching then. Okay.
Just real quick, for those who saw some previous shows, I've been. The FWC has this program called Wings Over Florida, and they have what they call the Big Year, and it runs from January to December, and there's a checklist of birds that you can get off their site or look at, and you document the birds that you identify throughout the year, come up with your total, and you submit it to them, and you get a certificate.
So this is a certificate here, right here. So
that's one. It may have changed as far as the artwork, but it's called the Big Year, and anybody can do it. It's free, and I started tallying my 22 list that I started fooling with last year. And I'm at 92.
Wow.
So I've already started. I'm going to do it again. I want to try to top 92.
Okay.
For this year, I've already got 20 plus already just from sitting in tree stands.
We got to start, for sure. We got to start doing that too. Because we see a bunch of, like you say, the normal ones, you can get those pretty easy.
Man, some of them are so challenging, and a lot of them little ones that are flitting around when you're sitting in a stand, they won't be still. But I got a couple of good ones here lately that you never paid attention to until you look at them with binoculars, something really close. And anyway, I brought the total to 92. I'm pretty close to 92. I'm either 1 or 2 off, but I counted yesterday real quick, and I think I got 92. So I'm gonna get that submitted and get a certificate just because.
Well, I'm so glad you're doing that, and like I say, we watch them every day and all. And with spring coming up, weather warming up, we can open the windows and doors, and now you can start hearing them a lot better. Even in the yard, a lot of y'all have yard feeders or walk through the woods and all. So.
And now you're doing it all inland, but when you start fishing and going out in the boat, then you get your shore birds and all the stuff you see when you're in the ocean or at the marinas and all that. So you try to document, and then there's so many gulls and terns, and you have to get your book out
Yeah.
and look at all these different markings. It's really challenging. It's more challenging than you think if you start doing it.
And you've been a lifetime outdoorsman, so you.
I just live to look at it as a bird, you know. And if somebody killed it, then I had a book. I looked it up, and I knew what it was, and I charged them with killing it. But if you just see them flying around, okay, that's a gull, that's a tern, that's a warbler, that's a hawk.
Yeah.
You know how many different kind of hawks there
There's
are?
a bunch of different hawks. Yes, yeah.
And how many of them look
Yeah.
the same almost?
Gail's sister, for years, she always participated, she and her husband, in the Audubon bird count every year. And boy, she kept us informed up in South Alabama. And it was, I was awed at as many birds as there were.
And when you get good at it, after you've identified them and looked them up, you know, next time you see them, you say,
Boom.
you know what that one is. Right now, or before I started, it was like, that's a hawk.
Yeah.
Of some sort, you know.
But is it a red-tailed hawk, or what kind of hawk?
Red shoulder, or a sharp shin, or Cooper's.
That's right. That's right. So that's something as a viewer, we want to encourage you to start doing that. We're certainly going to try to start doing it. Every year I say I am, and I get 2 or 3. But anyway,
Wings over Florida.
Wings over Florida. Check it out. We're going to take our final break. We'll come back with a blast from the past as far as one of the cases that Ken worked. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at our fishing game times today by Blue Water Outriggers. We're looking at this morning 6:04 to 8:04. Tonight we're looking at 6:29 to 8:29. Now you have a plethora of cases and all, so I'm gonna let you go with it because this is interesting.
I went out in the shed yesterday afternoon in the rain in my box of files trying to find one that would be interesting to talk about today. And of course, I remembered several of these kind of cases that I had been involved in. So anyway, a little history about marine turtle eggs.
Okay.
Everybody knows that these marine sea turtles lay their eggs on the beaches all around Florida in the summertime. And we got the green, the leatherback, the loggerhead, and the hawksbill, and the ridleys. There's all kinds. But when I was stationed in Palm Beach County and Martin County, along the east coast there, the sea turtles would nest on those beaches over there 100-fold times what they do here.
Really?
There'd be stretches of beaches, there'd be 5,000 nests.
Whoa.
Over the course of the summer that's documented. Well, in Palm Beach County and South Palm Beach County, we had individuals they'd go out in the middle of the night and they would dig up these turtle eggs. Sea turtle will lay probably 100 to 150 in a nest. And they were selling these eggs on the black market, or they were trading these eggs for drugs. This was June 10th of 1989. And we'd been getting complaints. And normally, I was with the Game and Fish Commission, so normally we didn't work anything, saltwater related that much.
Yeah.
But we kept getting these complaints about these eggs that were getting stolen. So I started doing some work on the beaches at night and had a night vision scope. And you'd go and you just sit up in the dune line and you feed mosquitoes and you feed sand gnats. And, in June and July down there, it's hot and humid. And I mean, not bragging, but it's hard to stay with it. And so this was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I saw somebody coming down the beach, walking down the beach, down by the water. And I was up in the dune line because that's where the vegetation gives you where they can't see you. So anyway, he kept coming towards me, and I could see when I was looking with the scope that there was a turtle crawl, where a turtle had crawled and come back, and he stopped right there and went in, and I saw he had some sort of bag. And he looked around, you see him looking around, and he started digging the eggs, and he put all the eggs in that bag, and he covered the nest all up like nothing had been there, and he started walking away. So he started walking the opposite direction of where I was, so I had to make up time. And I got down there to him, and I put the flashlight on him. Now, this was 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
This was a state park along the beach, so there's nobody anywhere.
Yeah.
And he ran down the water and he threw that bag of eggs in the ocean, and he went out in the water himself. Well, I had a flashlight in my hand and this night vision scope. I had set it down up in the bushes there, and so I got down there and he wouldn't come out of the water. So he's out there treading water up to his neck, in the ocean at 2 o'clock in the morning. The waves are coming in. So I ran down and got in the water. And the bag, thankfully, it had zipped closed or something, and it was floating. So I grabbed it and I slung it up on the beach, so it would have been gone. And there went my evidence, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going back and forth, and I was trying to get him out of the water. He wasn't. He said, "You want me to come out of the water? You come and get me." And so,
no way.
And so he got up pretty close one time, and I thought I could get out there and get my hands on him. Well, I started to go out there to him, and there was a drop off right there. And I went in the salt water up to my chest.
Okay, we got the picture here. This is Ken back in the younger day, and look at the wet line about chest high.
See, about badge high there.
Okay, so
well, when that hit that drop off, I went under. Gun belt, handcuffs, pistol, bullets.
Oh no!
Everything. So I had to back out. Well, anyway, I didn't have a radio, nothing to call for help. So we had gone down the beach probably a quarter mile, and so I got in touch with. I kept shining my light. We got behind these condominiums finally, and somebody came out on their balcony. I said, "Call the police. I need help." I shined a flashlight on myself so they knew who I was.
Yeah.
Pretty soon the police came, and the policeman ran down there, and he said the same thing to the guy. And he said, "You want me? You come get me." Well, finally he decided to walk out. We tackled him, handcuffed him, and he had 142 eggs in that sack. So
he got charged and all. So. What a great adventure there! And you stuck with it, and went out there. And
I now I'm thinking, well, why did I get in that water for? But I didn't realize that little drop off was there.
Yeah.
And I figured if I could get my hands on him, me and him would go up this way. But
if we had a show like Cops back then, where they could be videotaping that would have been a great segment right there.
I can tell you, if I had a body cam on then, it would have went underwater too.
Yeah, that would have been really special. What a great story.
Anyway, he went to jail. He had some drugs on him. And,
a good deal.
And, but they sell those eggs.
Well, that's interesting. Well, you timed it just right because we're running out of time.
Well, I got another one next time.
Okay. Keep those files open. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate the viewership. You do something good today for someone else, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.